Here's the deal. Lesson 4.2, exponents. An exponent here's the deal. An exponent like this, if I have 3 times 3 times 3 times 3, dots, you all know dots mean times. You've seen that before, right? I think we've even talked about that this year. Dots mean times. I could have put an X. Another way of writing 3 times 3 times 3 would be 81, right? 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 is 81. Another way of writing this would be to go, this is 3 to the 4th power. This right here is the exponent. The 4 is the exponent. You'll notice that it's written smaller and it's written high, right? This you would say 3 to the 4th power or 3 to the power of 4. Either one works. That 4 is the exponent. What it means is that I'm going to have 4 3's down here. The 3 is called the base, and the 4 is the exponent. This means that I'm going to have 4 3's. 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. That's what 3 to the 4th means. Do you understand? Read this for me, please. Just read it for me. Nice and loud. Read it for me, Michael. 7 to the power of 5, or even quicker and even probably more like normal would be 7 to the 5th power. Does that make sense? Are you all following me? What does it mean, 7 to the 5th power? What does that mean, Sladen? How many times? How many 7s will there be? 5 7s. So it's 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, all multiplied. Does that make sense? 5 7s multiplying each other. That's what it means. The 5 is the exponent, and the 7's called the base. Jumping a little ahead to algebra. What's the base? X. So how could you write x to the 3rd power? What's another way of writing x to the 3rd power? X times x times x. What's the difference? Just because things look ugly, it's still the same deal, right? It's x 3 times. Agreed? A little bit of algebra there. If I was to ask you what is the value of that, what do I mean by what is the value of that? First of all, read it for me, Jared. Read that for me.
2 to the power of 5.
2 to the power of 5 or 2 to the 5th power. Okay. What does it mean? What does it mean, Jonathan? 5 2's all multiplying each other, right? 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. If I asked you what is the value of this, what do you think I'm asking you for? If I'm asking you for the value of that, what am I asking you for, Caleb? The answer, right? I'm asking you for what is the number that represents. So you would go 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, whoops, which is 5 times. And then you go, okay, what's 2 times 2? 4 times 2 times 2 times 2. So then the value of 2 to the 5th power is 32. Make sense? You guys do one of those for me. What is 3 to the 4th power? The value. I want to know what the value is. What is 3? Well, read that for me, please, Emily. 3 to the 4th power. Very good. And what does that mean? Right, it's 3 times 3 times 3 times 3, right? 4 3's. Okay. What is 3 times 3? 9. 9 times 3? 27 times 3? 81. Right? 81. How many of you got 81? What happened? What happened, Jonathan?
Looks like you won.
You just multiplied wrong? Okay. Okay, here's where we start to use this. Okay, let's try this. No, put that down. All right, here we go. What is this? What are we looking at here? See, we actually have called this something, when in actuality, this is just an expression that you need to simplify. And we're going to use something called, what am I going to use to solve this? What am I going to use? What am I going to use?
The since after 3 is an x for a time.
I'm going to use the what, Jonathan? The order of operations. Order of operations. What is the order of operations? Do you remember? What are they? PEMDAS. Remember that weird word, PEMDAS? You've heard of that before. What is the order of operations? What is the order? Ellie, what's the order? What do I first look for? In order of operations, what do I first look for? Dylan. Parentheses, right? I look for parentheses, right? What do I look for next? Do you remember, Miss Morgan? Nope. PEMDAS. P-E-M-D-A-S. P stands for parentheses. What does E stand for? Exponents. That's this guy, right? That's him. Exponents. We're learning that today. That's the next thing you look for. You do the parentheses first, then you do the exponents. Then after that, so the E is exponents. What's M? Multiply and divide, right? That's multiply and divide. And then A and S is add and subtract. Agreed? This is our order of operations. Agreed? So, let's do it. Let's do this problem. The first thing we need to look for is parentheses. Do we see any parentheses? Yes. That means that, here's the deal. This is important. Are you all paying attention? Whenever you have parentheses, you now have to do everything in that parentheses before you do anything else. It's almost like this new parentheses is a brand new problem. And you ignore everything else. You have to do what's in the parentheses. So, head up, chair up. Yeah, there you go. Better. That's right. Question, Emily.
Do you do it in order like that, or do you...
Nah, here's the deal. Look. The parentheses. That is this. Do you agree? There, you see the parentheses there? So I need to do those first. Inside the parentheses is like a brand new problem. In other words, I'm going to ignore all this extra stuff that's outside of the parentheses. Right now, I need to solve the parentheses. So before I do anything else, whatever was inside that parentheses, I need to come up with a number that's inside that parentheses. Make sense? Now, inside the parentheses, since it's a brand new problem, I need to look and start over. I need to look and see, is there any other parentheses? Is there any other parentheses inside that parentheses? No. Okay. Is there any exponents inside that parentheses? Yes. I need to do that first. What is 7 squared? 14. 7 times 7 is 14. No, it's 7. 7 squared is 7 times 7. It's a very common mistake for someone to go like this, 7 squared, and go, okay, that's 14. I'm not kidding. Very common. That is not true. You need to be very careful. That is 7 times 7, so it's 49. Let's rewrite everything again. Do you understand why I do that? I finished that part of the problem. I did the exponent and bring everything else down. Now, is there any other exponents in that parentheses? No. Is there any multiply or divide? Yes. I have to do the division first. A lot of people get confused and they'll start doing this. They'll do that first. That's not true. You have to go down the order, go down the list. Do division first. 18 divided by 2 is 9. 18 divided by 2 is 9. Rewrite everything. 49 plus 9. Do you notice that I'm just simply rewriting everything except for what I just did? And then I write that down. Is there any other multiplier divide inside the parentheses? No. Add or subtract? Yes. 49 plus 9 is 58. Now that I'm down to 58, is there anything else to do inside the parentheses? No. So now I can go 3 times 58. It's the only thing left to do. So 3 times 58 is 174, and I'm done. Does that make sense? Does that make sense to everyone? Okay. Let's see if it does. You guys try and do, on the bottom of page 163, do a 3A at the bottom. On page 163. First thing you look for. What do you look for first, Morgan? What do you look for first? No. What do you look for first? Parentheses. Do you see any parentheses? No. Okay, no parentheses. Good. Next thing you look for is exponents. Do you see any exponents? Yes. So tell me if I'm wrong, but so this 2 to the third is 6. Am I wrong? That is wrong, right? Because it's 2 to the third, which means 2 times 2 times 2. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. 2 to the third is 8. So I do this, I bring it down. 8 minus 6 divided by 3. Now, is the next thing I do, I go 8 minus 6 is 2. Is that what I do? No. I look and go, is there any other exponents? No. Is there any multiplier divide? Oh, yes. 6 divided by 3 is 2. 8 minus 2 is 6. How many of you got 6? For real? Oh, I don't know that I believe that. I don't know that I believe it. Let's see if you can do it. That's good. Let's do B there at the bottom of 163. Do B. Can't help you. Not yet. All right, so first thing I look for, LA. First thing I look for, parentheses. Do you see any parentheses? Yes. So I need to do whatever's in the parentheses first. Do you see what I'm talking about? You have to do what's in the parentheses. What's in the parentheses? 2 plus 1. What is 2 plus 1? 3.
Oh, I see.
You see what happened here? Something else too. I'm gonna show you something really quick. Okay, this is very important. It isn't important on this problem, but it will be important starting next year and then especially the year after. Whenever you have something like this, whenever you have parentheses, and then outside of the parentheses is an exponent. Stop tapping, please. Whenever you have parentheses, and then you have an exponent outside, directly outside the parentheses, what I should have done, and what I'm going to do right now to show you, it's just important. It's not important on this problem, but it will be later, is I need to leave that in parentheses there. That 3 in parentheses when I square it. It's not important right now. I'm not even going to show you why it's important right now. But I am going to tell you that you need to do that. If you don't do it on your homework tonight, that's fine. I'm just telling you that it's important to do that. Now, is there any other parentheses? The answer is yes, you see it, right? But is there anything to do inside that parentheses? No, it's just the number 3. Is there any other parentheses? No. Is there any exponents? Yes. What is 3 squared? Is it 6? No, it's 3 times 3, right? That means it's 2 sets, 2 3s, 9. 5 plus 9 is... You'll notice that whenever I do this, notice what it kind of does. It turns into a V, right? It's like an upside down pyramid or a V or a funnel. That's kind of how it goes. It should start out as your problem. And then as you work the problem, it should narrow down until you finally just have a single number as your answer. Any other questions? I'm going to give you the hardest one on the page, okay? Right now, see if you can do it. As a practice problem. Hardest one on the page. 25 on page 164. 25 on page 164. see these parentheses right here, and you go, okay, well, inside of those parentheses is a brand new problem. And now you look for or other parentheses. And you go, oh, there's another set of parentheses. So then you actually have to do what's inside of that parentheses first before you see what I'm talking about? So it can happen. It's not part of our problem right now, but I'm just telling you it can happen. Anyway, so you look for parentheses, you see them. Inside that parentheses, do you see any other parentheses? No, I'm talking to Sladen. Is inside the parentheses, now what do you look for next? Exponents. Do you see any exponents? Yep. So what is the exponent? 13 to the second power. Or you know another way of saying anything to this? Do you know what another way of saying anything to the second power is? Squared. You say squared. Whenever you have something to the second power, you can also call it squared. If you ever have something to the third power, anybody know what that's called? Cubed. Whatever. You can say to the second power, or you can say cubed. All right. So that is 13 squared, or 13 to the second power. What does 13 to the second power mean? 13 times 13. What is 13 times 13? 169. 169. So I have 1 plus 169. And I bring down everything. Notice I brought down everything. Every time I do a step, I bring down everything. That way I don't forget, and I don't skip a step, I don't forget a number, I don't lose track, I bring down everything. Now, when I'm done with that, I look inside that parentheses, and do I see any other exponents?
No.
Do I see any multiply or divide? No. Nope. I see an add and subtract. What is 1 plus 169? 170. Now, do I need to keep it in parentheses? No. Why don't I need to keep it in parentheses? When do I need to keep it in parentheses? When there's an exponent just outside of the parentheses. That's when you need to keep it in parentheses. But there isn't one, so I don't have to leave it in parentheses. So I go 15 squared minus. Now, do I see any other? Let's start again. Anytime you want to, you can start over, right? And start looking. Do you see any parentheses?
No.
Do you see parentheses? Do you see any exponents?
Yes.
Oh, yes. What is the exponent?
225.
What is the exponent? 15 squared, or 15 to the second power. 15 times 15 is 225. So I go 225 minus 170. What is 225 minus 170? Notice I have a V, right? How many of you got 55 as your answer? I don't know why. All right. I think you guys are going to be fine. Let's do this, though. Let's do number 11. The question says, write each expression using an exponent. How would you write number 11 using an exponent, Momo? How would I do number 11? Don't give her answers. Number 11. It says, write each expression using an exponent. What would I write? 25 to the third power. Very good. Then it says, name the base and the exponent. What is the base?
25.
What is the exponent? 3. Makes sense? What about number 9? It says, pay attention. Look at number 9. The instructions didn't change. It says, write each expression using an exponent. You have to use an exponent here. How would you write that? 29 to the first power. Doesn't that just mean that there's 129? So any number can be written as an exponent. If I have 7 and I say write that as an exponent, what do I do? 7 to the first power, right? Do we ever really do that though? Do we ever have it? No. Why not? Because that is redundant. What does redundant mean? It's redundant means it's already been said. It's already been done. Right? Does that make sense? Sladen. Exactly. It's just like I don't do that, just like I wouldn't go like this. Right? Just like I wouldn't go a bunch of zeros, right? It's all redundant. It's already been established. You don't need to put that there. Okay? But in this situation, they're asking you to put 29 as an exponent. So if they're asking for that, how would you do it? You do 29 to the first. What would be the exponent? 1. What's the base? 29. Does that make sense? You have a question?
What will we do for like 16 where they have 25 men?
Ah. Okay, that is a good one. What if I have that? Let's do. I'll choose a different one. I'll say 14 times x times x. How would I write that expression? Well, I have a question. What if I have this? How do I write 8 times n? How do I write that? Just in general, how do I write that? 8n. Right? That's just 8n. Okay. So then how would I write 14 times x times x?
14 with x squared.
Just like that. You just put 14x squared. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? I think you guys should be fine. I don't see why you wouldn't be. So I will give you your homework.